Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. We came here to talk boxing with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now we live with my main man, 50 grand, Alexander, the big payback. What's up, man? How you living these days?
I'm living good, man. You know, it's just nice to be back home. You know, I had a good trip at Orlando, so you know.
Yeah, he had a good trip to Orlando. He was out there camping, you know, in the wilderness, recharging, getting away from life a little bit. So now he's back here, and we're here to talk boxing. So I know it's been a minute since I seen you, so we're back at it, man. Gonna be a fun night of boxing, a special 4th of July edition. You know, we got him here. We're gonna talk.
America.
Shout out to America, great country. Shout out to the three of you that are in here right now. But we're gonna talk boxing, 4th of July edition. Happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Hope you're having a great time with your family. If you're not with your family and you needed somewhere to go, we're happy to be here for you guys on the 4th of July to talk some boxing. Now we're gonna talk about obviously Joshua Wilder. It's a hot topic in boxing right now. We're gonna go to the Eddie Hearn interview that he did on Sporting News. And then we're also going to go into some other boxing news as well as, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But for the 6, 7 of you that are in here, drop some comments down below. Let me know where you're watching from and all that good stuff. And just comment. Shout out to my man Carlos Espinal. He said happy 4th of July. Shout out to you, Carlos, and your family.
We appreciate it, bro.
Who else is here? Where's everybody else at? We'll give it a couple minutes before we really get into the nitty gritty here.
Yeah, man. You know, we're just in an interesting point of boxing right now.
Yeah. Anything? Any thoughts on the boxing game? Like any fights or anything coming up that you want to share?
I'm really interested in right now the Usyk Garcia fight. It's finally finalized for Russia, July 21st. So you know, right around the corner, 2 more weeks.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that. My man Big Mo said, "What's up, niggas? What's up, Mo? What's up, Big Mo? How you doing, Big Mo? How you living?"
Big Mo.
Ashley BS13 says, "What's up, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you."
Wait, what? I'm sorry, BS.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My dad's here. Hey, everybody say shout out to my dad. He's here. What's going on? What's going on, Pops?
Mr. Nelson Taylor.
But yeah, so for those of you who are funneling in and out, we're going to be talking about Joshua Wilder, Eddie Hearn's interview on Sporting News, where he basically breaks down what happened, why the negotiations fell apart. We're going to get into Povetkin and Joshua being VADA tested, so that's a new wrinkle. And then we're going to get into also as well, we'll be getting into, what is it, James DeGale.
Oh, yeah, vacating
the belt. And then, you know, other boxing news. So we'll get about a minute before you guys get here, before we start, another minute or so. Anything else? Hey, while we're sitting here, after me and Alex run through what we want to run through, is there any specific topics y'all want to talk about after we get through everything? If there is anything you want to talk about, drop them down in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to get to them here on True School Sports. But
I can write them on my phone.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
It's also worth noting that tomorrow I'm going to be at the weigh-ins here at the Hard Rock Casino for the Harold Calderon, JD Martinez fight, local fight. So expect some content there. Might run into Holyfield and Bo, ask him some questions about the heavyweight division, hopefully. But I guess, you know, we're here. Everything's good to go. Let's get into it. So right now, what me and Alex are going to do, we're going to go to screen share, okay? We're going to go to screen share. What you guys are about to listen to is Eddie Hearn's interview with Sporting News, where he basically breaks down why the Joshua Wilder negotiations fell through. So we're going to go through that. As we hear interesting things, we will pause and then give our thoughts. It is also worth noting that the computer that we're streaming on right now the speakers don't work on it. So you may see a picture, but the video won't be moving. So just if you see that, don't freak out. That's what it is. So let's go to screen share. Hey. Screen share. Oh, while I'm doing this too, for any of the 8 of you who are in here, if you like what we're doing here on True School Sports and you want to support what we got going on, feel free to hit that super chat button and donate whatever you want. You know, I ain't gonna get mad at you if you do. But let's get into it, man. So we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna go to Eddie Hearn. So I'm not gonna play the video, but you guys are gonna hear the audio. You guys will hear the audio. So we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this interview, and we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause as we hear interesting points from Eddie Hearn himself. So here we go. So hold on. Put this computer here.
Get to it.
Why hasn't
Actually, hold on, guys. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. So we're gonna get the Eddie review now. So here we go. We're gonna play it from the top. So the video, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, as you guys can see, video title is Eddie Hearn reveals details of why Joshua Wilder fell apart. So here we go.
Why hasn't the Wilder Joshua fight, been cemented yet? Why has it taken this long to happen?
I think there's multiple reasons. I mean, I think Wilder's done a great job of using Joshua's name to improve his profile in the last couple of months. I don't blame him for that. It's worked unquestionably. You have a guy there who is one of, certainly in his position, I call him the lowest paid heavyweight world champion of all time. So you have a very, say, bitter person, but someone who looks at Anthony Joshua and thinks, how's this guy making 10 times what I'm making per fight? Yet he accuses us of being bad promoters, whatever, and you've got a guy who, in a small little pond like the UK, 5 times smaller than minimum than the US, he's making 10 times more money per fight than big old Deontay Wilder. When you get a fight of this magnitude, there's so many different elements that play into the negotiations. I think one of the problems is he has 3 managers. One is Al Heyman, doesn't have an E-man, very smart guy. One is Shirley Winkle. Again, he's very, very old, and I have no problem with old people. My father is one of them, that's why I let him talk to him. And one is Jay Diaz, who's a trainer and long-time manager of Deontay Wilder. So things have to go in this humongous circle of these.
And didn't Lou DiBella promote him for a little bit too, or?
Lou DiBella doesn't formally promote Deontay Wilder. Lou DiBella is just like a guy he's an event promoter. He doesn't actually directly work with Deontay. He just happens to have Deontay on his cards. But
okay.
Now that we pause, though, let me get into that first point. So Eddie Hearn makes the point here that one of the big problems with Deontay Wilder and making a fight with him happen is that there's so many hands in the pot. When someone tries to make a fight with Anthony Joshua, they only have to go through maybe 1, max 2 people, but the main guy really is Eddie Hearn. Make a fight with Joshua, you try to go through Eddie Hearn, and if Eddie Hearn can agree to terms, then you will thus in turn get a fight with Anthony Joshua, and you move on. Well, Wilder, and you guys have heard me say this before, and now you're getting to hear from the horse's mouth himself, Eddie Hearn. He's telling you himself, hey, the problem making a fight with Wilder is that there's so many hands in the pot. You have Al Heyman, you have Shelley Finkel, and you have JD's. Now, it's interesting. The interesting thing is that people often tend to overlook JD's. Even though he's a trainer, not many people, for whatever reason, not many people know that he's actually the manager of Deontay Wilder as well. So he's got 3 managers. So that's, when you get 3 people involved and there's that much money involved, there's bound to be some problems. So I think Eddie Hearn did a good job of bringing that point up. And you have any thoughts on that, Alex?
Nothing really. It's just surprisingly I know you can have 3 managers like that. I know you can have more than 1.
Yeah, you can.
And yeah,
you can have more than 3 managers, but a lot of that, it comes down to Wilder not having his stuff in order, and that's really what the problem is, because they're making this guy a $20 million offer, but you gotta understand that $20 million is gonna get split 4 different ways. Wilder's gonna get a cut, Heyman's gonna get a cut, Finkel's gonna get a cut, JD's gonna get a cut, and then we're not even factoring in. I don't know if he's still working with him. I could be wrong here, but Mark Breland, if he's still working with Wilder, he's gonna get a cut. So that's 5 ways of the pot being split.
So that's basically only $4 million.
Yeah. So he's gonna if he was by himself, he'd make roughly around 20 million or 18 or 16. But because there's so many hands in the pot, he might make 4. He might make 5. Yeah. So that's a good point there by Eddie. That's really what I wanted to say about that.
True.
3 people who I don't think particularly like each other anyway, to try and make some progression. So we started off, and the sort of the chronology of this is quite straightforward, actually. We've been talking to these guys for, 6, 7, 8 months about this fight. And we first made them an offer. And I don't like talking about money, but it's all out there now, so I don't have no problems now. For $12.5 million to fight Anthony Joshua in the UK. Now, we've always appreciated that there's more money for this fight in the US. But I feel that with what Joshua has done in the UK, with what the fans have done in terms of supporting him, and the history and the legacy that this fight can create, this is where we wanted to do it, in the UK. So we offered them $12.5 million. Probably represented about 30% of the pot, I would say. They didn't turn it down, they didn't respond. Okay. So Joshua did an interview on a tongue in cheek saying that they said this fight's worth $100 million. Give me $50 million, I'll fight you. Probably the worst thing you should have done. And they come back and said, all right. So Deontay Wilder sent him an email and said, I will give you $50 million for this fight. So he said, that's unique. An offer from a fighter. You know, no disrespect to Deontay Wilder. He certainly doesn't have $50 million. So
pause. Okay, so interesting point there too. It's like, you know, unless you're a Floyd Mayweather or you're like one of those like rare fighters who has been able to master the business of boxing, most fighters have a promoter. Most fighters have people that they have to go through to make fights happen. So that's the thing that I think gets lost in translation, especially from a lot of the Wilder fans and a lot of, not even Wilder fans, but I guess unbiased fans who would tend to believe Wilder. The problem is that he made an offer, but the offer didn't come in the form of a contract. It didn't come in the form of an email. Yeah. It came in the form of an Instagram video. An Instagram video. So when he finally made the offer, you know, Eddie Hearn said, okay, well, $50 million sounds good to us. You know, let's just discuss the terms and run through the contract. Because it's like, if you're, tell me if I'm crazy here. If you get a job at McDonald's, right, you're going to want to know what the terms are. You're going to want to know how much you get paid an hour. You're going to want to know how many hours you got to work. Yeah. You're going to want to know what the rules are, just things like that, before you just up and say yes. Because if you say, if McDonald's says we're going to pay you $30 an hour, you might say yeah, but you might not know what you got to do. They might say, well, we want you to dress up as Ronald McDonald and stick a string around your arm, and we want you to swing from tree to tree for 5 hours a day. They might say that. Oh dang! But see that's why you actually go through the process of reading a contract, like actually knowing the terms. So that's why I think. Well, what do you think? Do you think that's crazy to actually want to review what it is you're signing before you sign it?
No, that's not crazy. I mean, that's actually good. Like, you just want to make sure like you're not getting yourself into like you know, something stupid or anything. Yeah. Like you know, what's the most stupidest thing that can happen on the like? I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything like funny that can happen on.
It's almost like if you're at school and one of your friends says, okay, I want you to go say this to that girl, and you're gonna say, no, I'm not doing that. But they say, well, I'll give you this amount of money, and you say, well, what do I gotta do? And then you say, oh, well, no, just do it, just do whatever. And you're gonna know that, like, no, and you want to know, no, what do I gotta do to get that money? But he's not telling you what you got to do. So it's kind of the same in some ways. It's kind of the same thing. Like,
yeah, like seriously.
So yeah, and Finkel and Shelly Finkel made it perfectly clear, because that's where all this came from. Shelly Finkel, he made it perfectly clear that they're not going to discuss the terms until they agree to the contract. Does that seem backwards? Like, I think that seems
yeah. That seems stupid. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, but
that's ridiculous to me. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with what her is saying here. So let's continue. And for the 18 of you that are in here right now, shout out to you guys, man. If you're new to the channel, go subscribe. Do all that good stuff. Have some good stuff coming out. Big Mo says, "Yep, the lowest paid heavyweight in history." I can agree. Heavyweight champ, I mean, yeah, like he's the lowest paid. Well. Yeah, even Charles Martin made more money than Deontay Wilder. Like, he's the lowest heavyweight champion. He has probably the weakest resume of any heavyweight champion with 40+ fights. And he should be jumping to take this fight. But I think a lot of it has to do with what we were talking about earlier, the dynamics of his team. There's so many hands in the pot.
Yeah, man, like, it's just crazy. Like, most of these fighters, like, they just only have Al Heyman basically and some small promoter.
Yeah. So these guys did like 3, 4, 5 ways. So anyway, back to the interview. And for any of you guys who have thoughts on what's being said here in this interview, please feel free to chime in. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Shout out to Big Mo.
came back and we said, I was actually in New York. I said, I'm very interested. Can we meet to discuss? This was to Shelley. And Shelley said, you have to accept the fight first. I said, well, we're interested. That should be enough for you. But I need to know a lot more about this offer. I can't commit someone like Anthony Joshua to an offer like this without knowing the details. We feel a meeting would be non-productive, this is what he said. And you need to accept the offer first. So I thought that's bizarre. You're not going to talk about an offer of $50 million. So I spoke to Anthony about it, and we all agreed. This is of interest. We'd like to see the contract. So I went back to them and said, we'd like to see the contract. Now, there's this big thing about proof of funds. Now, of course, I would have asked for proof of funds if we would have even got that far. People say they provided proof of funds. It's absolute bullshit. They didn't provide anything.
All right, so another interesting point there. A lot of you guys are saying, because I remember myself, because I've been covering this since April, really hard since April. I remember when this all came out, they were saying, well, you may have seen the interview with Ness from the Boxing Boys. I don't know if you saw the interview when Ness interviewed Eddie, and he asked Eddie, said, has Al Heyman ever balanced a check? Like, his money's good, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so they're talking about proof of funds, and he's saying, like, well, he said in that interview, he said, well, I'm pretty sure if they want to raise $50 million, they could do that. No problem. But they needed to prove that they needed to look at the terms. So what Eddie is saying here is, I can't even prove that there was actually proof of funds because we couldn't even get a meeting. Huh. As Eddie stated, and I know as for myself, I researched myself. Shelley Finkel himself has said a meeting about the meeting about this contract, about the terms of it, would be non-productive until you accept it. So it'd be non-productive for Finkel because Finkel and Wilder are blowing smoke everybody's behinds.
Crazy. So
it's a tug and pull. It's a give and take. It's the art of boxing negotiation. You have any thoughts on this, Alex?
Like I'm just like, it's just so bizarre to me, like how he's not even like playing that Shelley's not playing no interview, not showing no contract or anything. He's just saying like $50 million. I know they don't really have $50 million. They're just trying to like make the public like like they're trying to make the fans like go on like I don't know Wilder's side, because sometimes they don't look into the details. Yeah, the casual fans, like they just say, oh snap, he said $50 million, but they don't actually look what's inside behind the scenes. So
yeah, it's like they play on the feelings of people who don't like Joshua for whatever reason. They play on those feelings, and then they cause division in the boxing community, and that's what's happening. I mean, all in all, it's good fun for the sport. I think it's good that both fighters are getting the promotion. The fight's getting bigger, but at the same time, it's like we want to see the fight happen. And and as much as people don't like Eddie Hearn, as much as people don't like Joshua for whatever the case may be, the facts that the cold hard facts are there have been 3 offers made. Each time they've increased in value, and when they did make a $50 million offer, Eddie Hearn has said, going back to April with his interview with the Boxing Boys, we're interested in the fight, send us a draft contract, or let's have a meeting to discuss the terms. And they did not want to discuss the terms. So, in fact, he couldn't even prove that there was funds because they wouldn't meet in the first place to discuss the terms.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, man.
It's like your friend. It's like if you're in high school. It's like if you and Josh let's say Josh says, Alex, I know this really fine female, and she's and I can get you a date with her, and you're gonna say, okay, well, let me meet her, and he's gonna say, well, no, you can't meet her until like whatever, like I don't know, like pretty much the same thing. Like they're messing about. So anyway, back to the interview. We're about 4 minutes in. For those of you who are in here, just continue to chime in. Eddie Hearn's interview on Sporting News. He also did one with Fight Hype. We're going through it right now. We're just running through what he said and just giving our take on it. Give yours down below. We'd love to hear from you guys. So far, we got a couple comments. Since then, so we'll read them. Graham Yates says hi from the UK. What's up, Graham? How you doing? What do you think about this whole Wilder Joshua negotiations thing? Who do you believe? Who don't you believe? What do you believe? What don't you believe? Let me know down below. Zan Shamo, shout out to him. He says, as much as Eddie embellishes the truth, nobody can really argue with what he's saying about Wilder's resume. It's pathetic. There's no way to defend it. It's one thing which makes me believe Eddie. And I would actually agree. I mean, I've been on YouTube covering boxing for 3 years. One of the first videos I ever made was not too long after Wilder beats the Ronin in the first fight. And I remember being very positive about that. I thought it'd be great for American boxing that we had a heavyweight champion again. And it really hasn't been as good as I would have thought it would have been back then. Yeah. So the fact that it took, 40 fights for him to fight someone at that top level in Ortiz, the major question. Raise my eyebrows.
Yeah, very major, man. Very major. So,
Michael Stott said they want to fight the Marinade. Which is true. I mean, Eddie's a promoter, so he's not stupid. I'm sure he wants the Marinade. He's gonna make more money. And they're going to make more money.
I mean, it's a heavyweight fight, man. Like U.S. versus U.K., undisputed. So, I mean, I can see why.
Yeah. My dad chimes in saying Bronzar Wilder is going to make more money on the Joshua fight than he has made his whole entire career. And then Michael Stott responded to my dad saying Wilder wants a retirement check. Well, this is kind of like to a much, much lesser extent. If you guys may remember when Gennady Golovkin and Daniel Jacobs were negotiating, initially, negotiations fell apart because Jacobs wanted more money. Oh, yeah. And that was a joke everybody kept saying, oh, he wants a retirement check before he gets...
Yeah, I remember that, too. And it was crazy, too, because it's like Jacobs, like, he didn't even have, like, a better, like, resume than... I'm not going to get to, like, which we've got debates right now, but, like, who was he beating? Sergio Mora?
Talking about Jacobs, yeah.
I know Peter Quillen, but
he wanted to be paid like one of the top middleweights in the world when he hadn't really done anything to be paid as one of the top middleweights in the world.
Yeah, he's too busy beating guys from what's that show?
The Contender.
Yeah, The Contender, and Peter Quillen, which he hasn't really fought any good guys either. So
yeah,
good dude, but like one of Val Heyman's cherry pickers. So.
Interesting comment here from a guy named Easy Band. Shout out to Easy Band. He says, "Can someone please expose Shelly Finkel? His history is full of lawsuits from his former boxers. He's dirty as hell." Dang. You know what, Easy? I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna say I even know about that. I've heard ugly lawsuits, but I haven't really looked into it for myself, so I'm not gonna speak too much on it. But what I'll tell you is this: I'll make note of it, and I'll definitely go out of my way to do my own research, and if should I find anything, I'll definitely do a video. So thank you for that.
I didn't know all that either.
Yeah, I didn't know all that, but okay. So anyway, let's get back to the interview. I want to respond to you guys' comments here in a second. So back to the interview. We're about 4 minutes through. Keep chiming in, guys. We'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, here it is, the interview.
Not even a contract. So they answered a couple of questions. It would be in the US, etc. But I said, we need to see a contract. We're not sending you a contract till you accept this fight. I said, well, I'm not accepting the fight because what they want you to do is publicly accept the fight. And then once things progress, it breaks down, you look bad. So I don't want to accept a fight until I see the contract. We're not sending you a contract. Okay, fair enough. In the weeks after that, we spoke to the training team and Anthony, and it was decided, look, we want to make a play for this fight in the UK. So this is where this fight should be, we believe. So I went back to Deontay Wilder and we offered him an improved offer of $15 million. Probably like nearly 7 times his highest purse, so 5 or 6 times. And we didn't hear from him for nearly a month. In that month, quite a lot had happened with Povetkin, who's obviously our mandatory. Povetkin mandatory got called over 2 months ago by the WBA. And for those who don't know that, they send you a letter and say, you have 28 days to negotiate, then we're going to purse bids. Since that negotiation period was over, we've asked for probably 6 or 7 extensions to that period, trying to make the Wilder fight. So that's the history of the WBA.
All right, so it's also worth noting for anybody who doesn't know, like you just heard Eddie say, this man has had to ask for 6 to 7 extensions just to hold out Povetkin. Dang. Just to hold a Povetkin fight so he can negotiate with Wilder. And all Wilder's done, or at least, I don't want to say Wilder, but his team, the people that handle his career, all they've done is stall and not respond in a prompt manner and just trying to negotiate the fight. Not with Hearn, the guy they need to be talking to, but they've been trying to negotiate fights to the media. How many times have you heard a boxer say you can't negotiate a fight through the media?
Yeah, a lot. Like, yeah. Seriously.
What do you think about this? The fact that he had to ask for 6 to 7 exemptions, or extensions, I should say.
I didn't even know man, like, first of all, like, I didn't even know, like, the WBA, like, This is why I like the IBF. The IBF, like, they don't joke around, but the WBA.
Yeah, the WBA there's always gray areas with the WBA.
Yeah, like the WBA just allows, you know, like just basically easier stuff when it comes to mandatories and stuff. They just have weird rankings though at the moment, Brezo Kendo, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, but the WBA, like, it's just crazy. They had to ask like 6 to 7 extensions so they can get Wilder instead of Povetkin. So, you know, I'm just glad that they're like going the Povetkin route, because Povetkin's also the #1 mandatory for the WBO, so they could get all the mandatory stuff out the way, so they don't have to worry about no extensions, and they could just like try to make the fight easier with Wilder if his team could like actually make a contract or something. So, you know, I'm just waiting for that, like, all of that to happen.
Okay.
So I think it's good that, like, I just think it's crazy overall about the whole extension thing. But I'm glad that they're getting to the Povetkin thing now, though. But
yeah. To backtrack here, there's been so far there's been 2, I think, underrated facts that we've already went through. There is a fact that people fail to understand with Wilder's career. He's got roughly 3 to 4 other hands in the pie. He's got. We know he has Al Heyman. We know he has Finn, because those are the guys that we see in the media. But people forget that JD's is a manager. People forget that, I believe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Mark Wheeler is still on his team. Even if he's not, that's still 3 other people that are in that their hands are in the pot. You know, so Wilder, he's only going to get. I mean, I don't know how they would split. I don't know how they would split any amount of money up. But I'm saying, regardless, he's got to share the money with 3 other people. But they're not the ones fighting for him.
True.
Al Heyman is does he even exist? We don't even know if this man exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Shelly Finkel is like every time we see him, it should be Groundhog Day, because the guy never is in the public eye. Right. And then JD's, you know, if any of the 3 deserve the money, it's JD's, because he's the one in the gym with Wilder. He was the guy that actually took Wilder from the ground up. Wilder walked into his gym, so he's the one that really put the work in with Wilder. So he deserves the money. But the other 2 guys, they're just parasites, in my opinion.
Exactly. Like, you know, man, like Al Heyman, like, it's just crazy. Like, I'm not gonna get into it, man, but dang.
Jason Mesa says that. Well, actually, let me go up. See. Wilder's team is not confident in him. Foulpole Boxing says you should stick with your previous logo, more pop. You know what, Foulpole? I don't want to argue about that here. I like my new logo, but I mean, I like my new logo, so I'm not gonna argue with you on that. But that's your opinion. You know, hopefully you still support the channel. Michael Stott says I'm here to hear Brandon. Well, it's a package deal, man. Sometimes you have to hear Alex too. Okay. Wilder suspended by New York State Athletic Commission indefinitely. Deontay Wilder was dismissive in the show. You know, I actually have a clip from the Showtime interview, G-Boogie. Funny enough, there's a clip from that Brennan Schaub Showtime interview that me and Alex are actually going to go through, so be on the lookout for that. Jason Smith says, dude, why hasn't Povetkin fight been signed yet with Joshua? I heard Joshua is mad at Hearns. We don't know. We honestly don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You know, all we can do is speculate. We haven't heard anything from Joshua. He might be mad at Eddie Hearn. It might be Eddie Hearn that's just, you know, I don't want to say he's the one delaying the fight, but he could be not doing his best to make the fight. So we don't know, but from what we're gathering, because Eddie Hearn is the only one that's speaking, because Heyman's not speaking, Finkel's not speaking, and we can't really believe Wilder. So who knows, man? Like, who knows who's telling the truth? I think though that I think Eddie Hearn is telling more of the truth. Foulpole Boxing says, I always support great channels. Well, I appreciate that, Foulpole Boxing. I mean, I hope you're here, so I'm assuming that you think my channel is one of the great ones. So if that's the case, then thank you. Let's move on, though. So we're 5 minutes and 5 seconds into the interview. We got about 7 more minutes to go. So I'm going to try to shut up for about a good couple minutes so we can get through this. And then, yeah, we'll talk.
So a month after I offered it, they came back and said, we accept the 15 million. And our terms, which we put in the email, 5 or 6 of the key points. We accept your terms and the offer, can we have a contract? This was on like a Monday or something like that. So I said, no problem, I'll have a contract with you by Friday. A lot has changed. We've lost venues. Canelo Golovkin's been announced, so we can't do Wilder Joshua in September because the US broadcast don't want to spend as much money. Could have been a week after Canelo, but we're working now on October, November. We'll come back to it. On Friday, I didn't quite finish the contract, so I emailed Shirley and said, "It'll be with you on Monday." He said, "No problem, take your time." So I sent it on Monday. I also said to him, as you know, seen by the media, working on a date, October, November. November was a problem with Cardiff. There's only one place to hold it in the UK. Cardiff is the only indoor arena. 80,000 for our last 2 fights have been. So we set that on Monday. On the, I think Thursday or Friday, he came back and says, oh, obviously they knew we were working on a date, but can you confirm that it's Joshua's next fight? I said, yes, I can confirm it's Joshua's next fight. Then on the Sunday, they sent another email to say, we'll be back with a contract on Friday, which was a further 6 days. So it's nearly 2 weeks from when we sent it. They knew at the same time the WBA was crushing us every day, and we were putting them off every day. So for me, it was a stalling tactic to delay the inevitable. So then he came out in the media on Monday, Shirley, and said, we've got our comments on the contract. It's only 2 minor points. We'll be back to them on Friday. And it's like, so you know the comments already, but you want to wait another 5 days to send them. Why is that? And you want to make this fight so badly? So the WBA, I think, saw that interview with Dan Raphael and said, you said, like, today it'll be done. Yesterday it'll be done. Now he's saying he'll come back with his comments on Friday. Enough's enough. The Povetkin fight has to happen next. Please send us a signed contract. So that's parked up on the side. There's always a lot of he said, she said, who was in the right, who was in the wrong. You can always believe what you want to believe. I think that Wilder and Showtime have launched this propaganda mission to make Wilder credible. That in the 41 fights that he's had, he has never had a significant fight outside of Luis Ortiz, a guy who probably an hour before the fight had not been passed by the doctors because of high blood pressure. This guy is old. Okay, so they try and fool and trick the fans that, oh, I can't believe this has happened again. All we ever do is want these big unification fights and no one will fight us. They swerved and they ducked Vladimir Klitschko for many, many years. In fact, there's an article from Shelley when Wilder had, I think, 34 fights. And Shelley says, oh, no, he's not ready for Klitschko yet. You know, he's got a lot. You're talking about Anthony Joshua, who after 22 fights would have boxed Vladimir Klitschko, Joseph Parker, Dominic Brazil, Carlos Takam, and Alexander Povetkin, and Dillian Whyte. Okay? When Joshua boxed Vladimir Klitschko, he was #1 in the Ring magazine ratings. When Joshua boxed Joseph Parker, he was #3. Now he's boxing Povetkin, who is #3 in the Ring magazine ratings. #6 is Dillian Whyte. He's beaten already. #7 is Brazil. He's beaten already. He's beaten already 5 people in the top 10 of the Ring magazine rankings. You cannot ever question Anthony Joshua's desire to fight the best. Look at the red.
All right, so a lot to unpack there. Let's get earlier on in that little segment we just played. Eddie Hearn was saying that, you know, a big problem with the fight too is like there's things that don't have to do with this fight that have now affected the fight, like Eddie Golovkin, Canelo got signed. I know you're excited about that. We're gonna talk about that later on a little bit. So that happened, and then now because that's such a big fight. You know, you're gonna have a lot of Mexican fans buying. You know, they're gonna invest into that fight. A lot of people are gonna want to watch that rematch. Yeah. Now, U.S. TV, whether it be HBO, whether it be Showtime, whoever the case may be, they're willing, or U.S. TV in general is just willing. They're not willing to pay as much for Joshua Wilder as far as promoting the fight as they would if Canelo Golovkin wasn't going on. So that's happened. You know, that's allowed that's pushed the fight back because, you know, you don't want to put a fight. I mean, I know it's a heavyweight speed fight, but that's still a big fight to compete with. You don't want to a fight like that. You don't want to have to compete with Canelo versus GG because you're going to lose some viewership. Yeah. So there was that. Then you have the fact that, and at this point, you know, the resumes. Yeah. We talk about resumes. You know, people want to get into their feelings. You know, feelings. They want to shout out to Precise Presenter. Feelings. But they don't want to look at the resumes. Look at the body of work. You know, Anthony Joshua, like Eddie Hearn just said, he's boxed Klitschko. He's boxed Joseph Parker. He's boxed Dillian White, Brazil. Carlos Takam.
You know,
Charles Martin.
He was the title holder.
Charles Martin.
He was the title holder, but so was Stavern. You know, so he was the title holder.
Funny enough, Charles Martin wanted to fight Wilder.
Yeah.
He wanted to fight Wilder, but guess what? Charles Martin, you know what? Charles Martin, in some ways, and this is gonna sound crazy, but Charles Martin gets respect in some ways that Wilder just can't get respect. Because guess what?
He went to his backyard.
He went to Joshua's backyard. When they offered him a career high payday, he took it. Okay, so it's the same thing. They've offered Wilder a career high payday to go to the UK. He won't take it. Maybe he won't take it because he saw what happened to Charles Martin.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but
But yeah, man, like he beat undefeated Dillian White, undefeated Brazil, undefeated Parker, you know, future Hall of Famer Klitschko, you know, all those dudes, you know, beat his mandatory Takam. So yeah, no good resume. While Wilder has been like what Stavern, Eric Molina, Dual Pass, all those dudes.
Yeah, no, like, and. I agree too. Like the dude, like after he fought Luis Ortiz, it's almost like I agree. Like Showtime and all those guys, some of them started a whole campaign to make Wilder credible. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you ever saw this. I don't know if you remember. After it had to have been after Povetkin popped from Eldonium and they came to fight. I don't know if you remember. Showtime did a whole interview. It was in black and white of Deontay Wilder. It was like in black and white. It's about 10 minutes, and it's a whole 10-minute interview where he's just whining about.
Wait, I thought that was after the Luis Ortiz.
Or it might have been before. I think it might have been before actually. Around that time, he was like, "All I want to do is fight the best."
Gosh.
Like the whole like "woe is me" campaign to try to make Wilder like this victim. When he's not a victim, you had the title longer than Joshua. He was a champion before Joshua.
Yeah, exactly.
And it took him years to fight someone credible in Luis Ortiz. So. I feel like, you know, Brendan Schaub, they brought Brendan Schaub on board to be a cheerleader.
Oh, yeah.
They got Finkel, they got Espinoza, and they got Wilder himself. And they're all in cahoots, and they're all trying to make him credible, but your actions speak louder than your words.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're right. That they do. And Luis Ortiz, like what has he accomplished? Like,
well, come on. We both know that Ortiz is a top heavyweight.
No, he's a top heavyweight. He's a top heavyweight.
Look how long he fight Ortiz. Look at all the ridiculous things they put Ortiz through before he signed a contract. He had the blood pressure thing. He got taken off on the November 4th card, and then he got reinstated like 10 days after the second Stavern fight. So they put him through all that, and he still fought him.
No, I mean that was a good win, but at the end of the day, Joshua still fought, you know, Klitschko, future Hall of Famer. Joseph Parker, you know, current world, you know, who was a current world champion,
undefeated, one of the top heavyweights in the world.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he beat Dillian White in like, you know, a prospect fight.
And for the British title.
Yeah, it was for the British title. You know, he beat you know, the decent heavyweight Dominic Brazil.
Fought Molina.
Yeah,
the same Molina that hurt Wilder.
Yeah.
Joshua, what was it, 2-3 rounds? Got him out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Wilder took Wilder like 9 rounds.
And he got hurt. Exactly. And he got hurt by Molina. I know styles make fights and all that stuff, but I'm just saying Joshua's fought some similar opponents, and he's beat them easier.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for those of you in the comments commenting about Klitschko and how he ducked Klitschko, we're actually going to spend a whole time. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit too. But we got 3 minutes left of this interview, and then we're going to review what we found out in this interview from Eddie Hearn, and then we're going to go to the Klitschko point. So stay tuned for that. Keep chiming in, and yeah, here we go.
Resumes. The resumes don't lie. So whether you think I'm lying, whether you think Shirley's lying, whether you think Wilder's lying, whether you think Joshua's lying, look at the facts, look at the proof. Joshua steps up and fights the best time and time again. Wilder does not. The other facts you need to take into consideration are, if they wanted this fight so bad, why did they wait 2 weeks nearly to come back with any comments? Yet they already knew them, apparently. And the other factual point, which is so important, is this contract is still live. Nothing's changed. This is the deal that you accepted. That offer still stands. Apparently, they said there was 2 two things they weren't happy with. Number one was the rematch situation, which they'd already agreed in writing to within the terms, which they said they're going to concede to publicly. And the other one was the date. So no, we just needed to know the date. Well, I'm telling you the date is April the 13th, Wembley Stadium in the UK. So sign the contract. So all these people debating, oh, he did this, he did that. Just ask yourself one question. Sign the contract or come back with your comments. This is it. This fight has to happen for the fans. So we're going through that process now. So now he turns around and says, no, I'm not taking that fight. It's 50-50 or nothing. Where's that come from? You've got a contract to sign. If you want this fight so bad, if you're so desperate, if you're so avoided in the world of boxing, it's there. You've agreed it already, all the terms. Just sign the contract. He won't want to because he's bluffing. He doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua. His team doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua. He's never fought anyone of the danger of Anthony Joshua. He never fought Klitschko. No, he never fought Joseph Parker. He fought Ortiz because it works out well in the grand scheme of things. Now he goes back to fighting for a couple of $1 million against Brazil or maybe a rematch of Ortiz. But watch what happens now. Don't be surprised if they try and trick the public with one of those pay-per-views which we talked about earlier for $70, $100, even with Brazil or with Ortiz, because you've got a guy in Deontay Wilder now who has to question the people that are looking at, why is this guy in England making all this money for his fights and I'm over here making $2.5 million, $3 million a fight? So now he's going to go to those same people and say, how much you paying me for the next one? Because I've already made him an offer of $5 million for his next fight. So we'll see. It's really interesting. But the key that the fans have to know is why stall on the contract for so long? But also, whatever you think of everything that's happened, let's just focus on the now. Let's just focus on trying to make this fight for US fight fans, worldwide fight fans. It's there.
All right, so that concludes the Eddie Hearn interview with Sporting News. So good stuff there. Let's review what he just said, and then what other points made in the video. So, he was talking about basically, he was just talking about how, toward the latter stages of that interview, how Deontay Wilder, in all of his interviews, all of them, and I remember actually being there in person for one of them when he fought Stavern. He got up there kind of like he was The Rock or Stone Cold or any wrestler you want to think of that had personality. He got up there and he was like, I am the most ducked. I am the most feared. I am the most baddest man on the planet. I mean what I say. He was saying all that, right? And he's saying all these guys ducked him, right? So Eddie Hearn was like, okay, offer. No. Offer. No. Offer. No. Well, the offer's still on the table. And they said, a wise man once said, the silence is the loudest. And his silence is very loud right now from his team. Yeah. So I don't think it's Wilder that doesn't want to fight, even though he's kind of being played like a puppet and he's just saying whatever he's told. I think it really is people behind him. Because if like Eddie's, Eddie, they're the A side, right? They're the A side. They bring the belts, 3 of them. Yeah. They bring the money with lots of people in the stands.
Exactly.
And they made him an offer. They said April the 13th, 2019, Wembley Stadium for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And guess what? Still silent. Nothing wrong. After everything you heard, Alex, give me your honest thoughts on everything.
I just want to see the fight already. It's Deontay Wilder's team, like you said. I don't think Deontay Wilder deserves 50-50. He doesn't even have that much of a good resume compared to Joshua. And Joshua has the majority of the belts. But because of the belt holding, I believe it should be like 65-35 for Joshua. Maybe 70-30. Honestly, 70-30, but this should be generous 65-35 for Joshua.
Yeah.
So I just wanted it to be like that. I just want them to make the fight already. I just want to see undisputed champions. So
that's what I want too, man. There has never been, since I've been covering boxing on YouTube, and since pretty much anybody on the YPP is covering boxing on YouTube, there has never been an undisputed heavyweight champion.
In the especially in the 4 belt era too.
So that's what we want. Yeah, that's what we want. So let's review. we clarify that underrated fact that people overlook is that there's so many ways the Wilder pie gets split. You know, we have JD's, Al Heyman, and Charlie Finkel. Their hands are in the pot, and I think Mark Brilliant, but don't quote me on that one. But at least 3 people. At least 3 people. Then you have the fact that, you know, you have that Eddie Hearn couldn't even verify people's funds because he couldn't get a meeting with Charlie Finkel.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they want to do things ass backwards and have him just verbally agree to whatnot. Then Wilder verbally agreed to a contract last month. But then 2 weeks went by and no contract was signed.
Oh, dang.
Remember we were at the basketball court that day, remember?
Yeah.
And I said, Alex, they agreed to term, but, you know, nothing, there's no date, there's nothing like that, so don't get too excited. Remember I told you that? So from the time I told you that, 2 weeks went by, and there was nothing that happened from Wilder's side.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
It was just Eddie Hearn that announced that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, to me, it's a real messed up situation for the boxing fans, man, because the way I see it, man, it looks like Wilder's team is pricing himself out, and it's beginning to look more and more at times like this could be another Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis situation, which is something I don't want as a fight fan. It's bad enough those two didn't fight. You know, we don't want history to repeat itself.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I don't really look at it like that, though, because it was like Lennox Lewis was actually like he had to fight him because he was the mandatory to a belt. He had. That's true, I guess. Yeah. These dudes, they just have their own belts and stuff.
Yeah, so, but it's still a big heavyweight fight between an American and a UK fighter, the undisputed, and it's not. We just don't want to see it not happen because, you know, let's say hypothetically speaking, Joshua fights Povetkin or Wilder fights Brazil, and one of their asses gets knocked out. Then, you know, we're gonna say, man, what could have been. But maybe then Anthony Joshua fight Dominic Brazil, the undisputed rematch.
I know, rematch. Yeah.
But let me know what you guys have before we move on to our next point. What we want to talk about. Let's get into what these comments say. So Easy Band says, "True. I seen the article. Finkel laid out a plan to duck the best heavyweights, even though Wilder was the WBC champ." I actually had the article on my computer, so we're gonna get into that here in a second. They're taking advantage of Wilder because he's not the sharpest tool in the box. That's probably true. Michael Stutz says, "I think Charles Martin is fighting Adam Konaki." He is, Michael, and I actually
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I actually made a video about that. What do you think about that fight? Charles Martin returning? Fight Adam Konaki.
Yo, I'm actually interested in that fight, actually, because
that's supposedly going to be on the Danny Garcia Porter card.
Yo,
they're saying.
Yo, first and foremost, man, Adam Konaki. You know, I like what I see from him. You know, he's a good fighter. You know, he's beaten Archer Spilka, Igo, Kayadze. You know, decent level contenders. He's about to take up like sort of a step up in Charles Martin. You know, former title holder, the second shortest heavyweight reign champion or whatever you call it. Yeah, you know, it's a good fight. No experience. Like, I don't even know what to say. Martin hasn't really been inactive. He only fought like 2 times since Joshua lost. No, 3 times, and they were all in the span of like 2 years. Yeah, Adam Konaki has been busy, like, fighting good guys. You know, like I said, Spilka, Kayadze and stuff. And, you know, Konaki, I'm not going to say he's going to beat, like, Joshua or Wilder or anything, but I could see him, like, becoming, like, a tough force in the heavyweight division. You know, he has a big fan base in New York, especially with the Polish people, because, you know, he's born... Like he's a Poland-born New York citizen. Yeah. And there is a lot of Polish people in New York, so you know, interesting. He has a good fan base too, so you know, good fans. And I'm really interested in this fight. I want to see what Martin brings, and I want to see what Konaki brings. So, you know.
One guy commented on my video. It was on that video. Apparently, some guy who trains at the same gym with him. He said, "Man, Charles Martin sucks, man." He said he's trash, and he was. I think I can't remember exactly what he said, but he actually quoted him. He something stupid that Martin said. It's like Martin sucks at boxing, but he wants to train everybody else.
Yo, Martin is the true definition of a title holder.
Yeah.
He like seriously.
I like him though. Remember Miami when I met Charles Martin, that interview I did with him?
Bro, I was laughing so hard because of what happened off camera. When he came back, he was like, "Now see, now that was the power of
my perception."
Of perception.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, so in January, I interviewed Charles Martin at the Aries 90 Law Yuri Foreman fight. He was there with his manager, and I asked him for an interview. He said, "Yeah." So he was going on this long tangent about police violence and how he wants all the belts and to be like Evander Holyfield, and then he walked off, and then he walked off, and I turned my camera off, and then he came back, and like he had a smile on his face. He's like, "You see that, man? That's the power of my perception." And he was telling me about his acting ambitions and all this stuff. So Charles Martin, man, quite the character. Quite the character.
R.I.P. Gorgeous Villain.
R.I.P. Gorgeous.
R.I.P. Gorgeous.
Anyway,
wave cap.
Big Mo says, hey, my man Big Mo says, but Martin might knock Adam Konaki out. You know, I like Charles Martin, man. I'm gonna be rooting for him. I hope he does. Get him a Gerald Miller fight. Can you imagine that Charles Martin versus Gerald Miller, the build up for that?
Yeah. That would be funny, actually. No, but Martin, like, he's just a weird dude, though. I met him in person, and he was actually a good guy, but it was just like the way he was just moving stuff was just like weird
cartoon stuff. Character, like
like we shook hands and stuff, but while we were shaking hands, it was just like I just felt weird.
Yeah,
like
I can see why.
Yeah,
my man Easy Man says Shelly Finkel was sued by our good friend Riddick Bowe for something. So I'm looking at that because Riddick Bowe's my man. So I look into Shelly Finkel a lot more now. So I appreciate you, Easy Bands, for bringing this to my attention because it's something I guess I may have overlooked. But anyway, moving on, I wanted to get into something interesting. So many of you guys may know because Eddie Hearn made it a big point. He made it a big point that hold on. Eddie Hearn made it a big point that basically Wilder's always ducked the top fighters, the top champions and whatnot, right? So he's ducked the top fighters his whole entire career.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He had a chance to fight Vladimir Klitschko.
Ducked him.
You know what? Before we get into anything with Wilder ducking Klitschko, or as far as his interview recently with Brandon Sharp where he was talking about Klitschko, I actually wanted to play you guys this. So right here, what you guys see on screen right now is an interview I actually had a chance to do with Vladimir Klitschko. This is 2015. It's titled Vladimir Klitschko on Emmanuel Stewart. I started to love boxing when I met him. But in this interview, Vladimir, I asked him about Deontay Wilder because this interview took place, I'm going to say, roughly a week or two before he fought Johan Duapas.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked him about the potential Wilder fight. And here's what he had to say. Hold on. Pull it up. So here's what he had to say. So we go to the 44-second mark. 44? I don't remember. I think it's here. Anyway, here we go.
They changed a lot inside of the ring and outside as well. So all right, awesome. Last question. Deontay Wilder, he's the other heavyweight champion in the division. Just what's your take on Deontay Wilder, and is a fight with him in the works? I know Deontay pretty well, and I think that he's a very talented fighter with great skills. What I only have seen previously, and we're going to see this match, he's going to fight this match, that his opposition is not a position that the fans are expecting. Obviously, he's winning in an impressive way, but I wish he could have better opponents. And I understand that he has no influence. Who's going to be put in the ring because he's promoters and managers, but I hope he can get some of the influence and just say, guys, all right, I mean, as a champ, I need to find somebody that is really deserves it, somebody that can be good at position and really going to make fans.
All right, so basically in that interview, what you saw from Vlad was, you know, he kindly just said, this homeboy hasn't fought nobody. Like, he hasn't fought nobody. Like, yeah, he's got a belt. He can't influence who he fights in the ring, but yeah, like he needs to do a little more before he's in a position to fight me. Which, I mean, I'm not mad at Vlad, but I also know that Vlad is. You gotta understand too, because I did this interview on. If we highlight it right here, I did the interview on September 8th, 2015. So when he's speaking in this interview, right, he's speaking from the position of knowing that in January of that same year, so January of that same year, 7 months prior or 8 months prior to before I did the interview, Shelley Finkel said that Wilder will not be rushed to fight Vladimir Klitschko. So he knows this. I'm sure he knows this because boxing is a pretty small business. And he's speaking from that position. That's what I got from the interview. What did you take away from what he was saying in that whole interview, Alex, if you have any thoughts?
Like, you know, just the usual thing. Like, same thing how Eddie Hearn's talking. Like, you know, he just has, like, all these, like, weird, like, managers and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
we don't really know what they're doing. And, like, yeah, basically, that's all I really got to say on it. So, you know.
Yeah. So, one thing you guys, I mean, I appreciate that your opinion, Alex. So yeah, like I said, Klitschko is speaking from the position of one. This dude, that interview took place before you even fought Duapas. Nobody knew who the hell Duapas was at the time. Now he's got a little more respect because, you know, he had a good showing against Wilder.
He fought Povetkin on a day notice.
Yeah, didn't he beat Robert Helenius or someone like that?
Yeah. Oh, he beat Robert. Upsetted him, actually.
He upset Robert Helenius. So he's made a little name for himself in the heavyweight division. But back then, nobody knew who the hell he was. Even I remember, I think I watched the deal. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? But he's tough. But who is he? So he hadn't really fought anybody. And that same year, early in that year, Finkel made it known we are not under any circumstances going to have Wilder fighting Klitschko. So it's funny to hear interviews like right now. I have, as you guys can see, I have the Brendan Schaub interview queued up on my Hangout. Because in this interview, Wilder, you're going to see the lies that he's telling the fans, a bull-faced lie that he tells the fans here. He's going to talk about how nobody wanted to fight him, how Klitschko didn't want to fight him. And I'm going to show you guys why he's blowing smoke up everybody's asses. So here's the interview with Brendan Schaub. After he says what he says, I'll show you the article that shows otherwise. So here we go.
That's good. Let's get it.
100%. It's a great fight. Like, we supposed to do this a long time ago. You know, when you're that good, and I'm not boasting myself, I'm not being arrogant, but I'm only saying what has been displayed, what is being shown, and especially when these guys don't want to fight me. I'm trying to prove that I'm the best. Do we have anybody out there that don't feel like Deontay Wilder is the best? I've tried, especially with this last season. I've tried to show you. I'm like, all right, if you don't believe it, I'm finna tell you. I love proving people wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with me, when you're so good, it's almost a curse. It's a curse to have power in this division. I don't care who got the better feet work and stuff like that. Is he gonna be able to use what he has against me? That's about. I don't care who he's fought. We can go with resumes, and we can see that his resume no greater than mine. You know what I'm saying? They talking about a clip. Come on. When I have to fight you gonna show me what you about in person. I'm gonna show you what I have in person. Our styles is gonna be matched in the ring on that very night. That was so special about this, that you get the best fighting the best. Correct. And with the world, here we go.
Listen to this part, guys. Listen to this part.
Who's the best? I feel like now the pressure's on him. Before it was like, man, let's see if Deontay gets past Ortiz. You do that, and now it's all on him. He has a fight coming up, and you know how those pre-interviews are, all that stuff. I'm assuming 99 out of 100 questions goes, when you fight Wilder, man. Yeah, I know you have to put back and come up next. When you fight Wilder. And that's what he has to look forward to. But not only that, every day you wake up, every day, like, I'm very in tune with what's going on over there. Like I said, I got family members over there, stuff like that. So they tell me the country wants Wilder, Joshua. That's all. They don't want Povetkin. No, you don't want to take a difference. And it's good for me because they've only helped my career out by doing it. You know what I mean? By not fighting me and people seeing that I really want it, it hurt them, but it helps me out. Yeah. Because now people are like, we don't care who you fight. We want to see, we know you trying. And when people see you trying, that's all that matters. And sometimes with people, because I can only do what I can do. I can't make this guy get in the ring. I can't make his people convince them to get in the ring with me. It's just like with me, just like I was saying, it's a curse being so good because although you at the top, you still don't get no opportunities. Every guy that was at the
Here we go.
That was worth fighting, that was a champion. I could never get a fight with them. They always duck. They always win some, no matter any name you can name out. that was at the top. That me unifying, they grabbing belts. That's why I never unified to this day. Yeah. No, none of the champions wouldn't fight me. People always say, why you dug Klitschko? We can bring Klitschko right now in this room. We can ask him the same question. What do we do next?
All right, so what a joke. What a joke. This man literally looked into the camera and said that all these champions ducked me. They always duck me. I could never get a fight with those guys. That's the only thing he said right, that he could never get a fight with those guys. But it wasn't because they ducked you. Let's go to the article. Let's go to the facts, okay? Let's go to the facts.
Bro.
The cold hard facts. We give you the cold hard facts here on True School Sports. We don't give you no fluff. You want fluff, you know what channels to go to for that. We're not gonna get no clout, but you know the suspects.
Yeah.
And it is, so like he's saying, oh, well, Klitschko ducked me. Oh, I can never get fight the top guys. Every top contender ducked me. Really? Let's see. BoxingScene.com. Is BoxingScene.com a reputable source for boxing news and information?
Of course.
Okay, let's go to BoxingScene.com. Okay, BoxingScene.com. All right, so do you see the date? January 25th, 2015. Not this really couldn't have been that long after Deontay Wilder captured the title, because I remember I made it. Let's see, because Wilder beat Stavern on the 17th of the 2015 of 2015. So just over a week off of a week after Wilder had captured Sophia, the WBC heavyweight title from Stavern. 8 days later, his manager comes out and says Wilder will not be rushed, says Shelly Finkel. Let's read it verbatim here on True School Sports, because it's not a long article. Here's what it says. It says, I quote, WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, 33-0, 32 knockouts, is still very much a work in progress, said his co-manager Shelly Finkel. After last Saturday's world title win over Berman Stavern, the hype began growing for a fight between Wilder and WBO, WBA, IBO, and IBF champion Vladimir Klitschko. Finkel, who manages Wilder with Al Heyman and JD's and the guy at the pizza store and the milkman and Lou Bella, also works closely with Klitschko. He says there is no need to rush Wilder into big fights against the best in the division, that despite a world title, he still needs time to grow and groom his skills. So then, he fought, after he fought Stavern, let's see, he fought Molina, Duapa, Spilka, Areola, Gerald Washington, Stavern again. So he fought Stavern again before he fought Klitschko. Klitschko had already lost the title. He fought Gerald Washington before he fought Klitschko. Because remember, I think this time when he fought Gerald Washington, that was pretty much when he fought Gerald Washington. That was pretty much he could have tried to fight Klitschko. Washington, I think they had a Joshua fight signed already.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so yeah, I don't want to say that. That's unfair. But I'm saying I didn't see enough of an effort for him to try to go fight. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't him. But I'm saying Finkel, the guys who pulled the strings in his career, they didn't want to give Wilder the opportunity to fight Klitschko, and that's probably what America needed more at that time than anything for boxing, because
that's true.
Because Klitschko, I mean, he was never really well received here in America. I mean, this was in the middle of his title reign, and thinking up like his fights were one of the most exciting in the world. So people would have, had they made the fight, I can almost guarantee you, fresh out that Stavern win, where we got a fresh, new, young American champion, I would have bet anything that the country would have rallied around him.
Yeah, exactly. No, but here's what I gotta say though, like when he fought like Eric Molina, Duapas, those were the only chances where he could have fought like Klitschko instead. But after the Duapas fight, Klitschko had already lost to Tyson Fury. Yeah. And they were going ahead and doing the rematch. That was supposed to be scheduled because they had a rematch clause. And then while he was doing that, he was fighting guys like Spilka when really he could have fought Povetkin. And then he eventually was going to fight Povetkin, but then that whole, the
whole scenario thing came up with the Meldonium and whatnot.
So he had to fight Areola, and Tyson Fury came out the picture because of the Klitschko rematch got rescheduled again, blah blah blah, and then I remember Wilder being injured, and then Tyson Fury out the picture. So the Klitschko fight was already out the door right after the Duapas win, basically.
Pretty much. That was gonna happen. But to finish up reading what was said here in the article, this is what Finkel said. Like, look what he's saying here. This man just won the WBC heavyweight title in his 33rd fight, and this is what they're saying about Wilder. This is what his manager is saying about him. He says, I quote, "Look, Wilder is a baby winning the title. It was his first title fight. There'll be a time for unification. there'll be a time for all those things. He could go and Povetkin in Russia and make $10 million. Finkel said to the Tuscaloosa News, "It is not the right thing yet to give him a couple fights. Maybe bring something back to Alabama. Let him develop like any other athlete. They don't take someone who is a great college prospect and throw him right in. And this kid is a great prospect." So it's two contrasting things. Because Joshua, even say the same for Joshua, he beat Charles Martin, and that dude was, Joshua was a prospect. I would even say he was more of a prospect than Wilder. Wilder had 33 fights already. So that's what it is, man. He's a kid. I mean, what is he? Wilder, how old is Wilder now? Wilder is like 32 now. So he was like, what 28?
When he won the title.
21, 28, 27, something like that when he won the title. So you can't really call him a kid. Yeah. He's only a kid to Shelly Finkel because Shelly Finkel is old, but he's not a kid. That's your prime in as far as boxing. I know heavyweights age a little differently than other fighters, but that's your prime, physical prime. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I know, and especially you won't even fight your own mandatory. You're fighting like too busy fighting guys like Molina and Duapas and all these.
Duapas was nobody at that time.
Yeah, at the time he was nobody, but now he's making himself like.
He made a little name for himself. You know what? Shouts out to Mr. Boxing Today. Mr. Boxing Today is in the chat. Shout out to Mr. Boxing Today, man. One of the best channels in boxing. I would probably say there's not many people here on YouTube whose opinions I really value and respect on boxing, particularly heavyweight boxing, more so than Mr. Boxing Today. The dude is a class act. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. I'm gonna read a couple of his comments here. He said, I remember that article. Wilder and Finkel were saying different things around that time. I do remember on April 25th, 2015, Klitschko at the Jennings post-fight presser said that he wants to fight Wilder, but Tyson Fury was next. He and Povetkin were scheduling around each other in 2015. And that's what it is. And then he said, I think that counter right hand off the back foot had a lot to do with Ortiz losing. And I would agree with pretty much everything Mr. Boxing Today says. Mr. Boxing Today, or I know your actual name. I don't want to say it here because I don't know if you're cool with that. But Mr. Boxing Today, what I'll say is, I personally believe that Wilder wants to fight Joshua. I think it's really Finkel, and I think it's Heyman, and even maybe JD's. Maybe I don't even know. I don't think JD's is really ducking. I think it really has to do all with Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel, in this case, is what I believe Rock Newman was for Riddick Bowe in the Lennox Lewis negotiations. And as far as you're saying, I think that counter right hand off the back foot had a lot to do with Ortiz losing. Yeah, that was crazy because that whole fight, it almost seemed like, Wilder was getting tagged, and then just in the what was it, the 9th round or whatever, whenever he stopped Ortiz for like 5 seconds, this guy becomes Floyd Mayweather Lomachenko. He slips 3 punches and shwoom, right hand hurts Luis Ortiz. So that was very impressive that he turned it on that quickly.
Yeah. I gotta give him credit for that. So.
So yeah, this article right here shows that what Wilder is saying, maybe he wanted to fight Klitschko, but his managers, his promoters, his advisors, they had a whole different agenda, as you can see right here. So we don't need to get any more into that. That's what it is. We're gonna talk about Joshua versus Povetkin, but we're gonna talk about the fact that they both signed up for VADA testing, and I want to get people's thoughts on that. Before we do that, I wanted to play you guys a little excerpt from my interview with Stacey McKinley. As you guys can see, Stacey McKinley, great trainer, world-renowned trainer, trainer likes of Mike Tyson, trainer likes of Shannon Briggs, trainer likes of just, a whole host of heavyweights, Tony Tucker, Michael Moore, and, he's been around the boxing game for a long, long time. Probably one of the most old-school trainers you'll find in the sport, and I've been very blessed and fortunate to develop a relationship with Stacey. So I did a long interview with him late May, early June, and I've been dropping little clips. I dropped the whole thing already, but I dropped little clips from that as well. In this particular clip right here, he talks about Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis and just some untold stories from that. So I'm gonna play a couple minutes from that, so you guys can go get a little excerpt. And if you want more, go to the channel. So we're gonna play it. So here we go.
Body at that particular time was, hey, I would defeat Tyson. I can see it. I can feel it. And I made a statement. I said, you should not fight Lennox Lewis. I said, your legacy is in stone. You don't need Lennox Lewis. The money is not going to be there. So why are you fighting Lennox Lewis? And I think they did a big article in USA Today. I got a phone call from this new people telling me, I know you did that. I know you said that. And I want to tell you right now that Tyson would never fight for Don King again. I said, listen, it ain't about who Tyson fight for. It's about Tyson and Tyson health. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you all, that this man's body can't get into condition. He's done. His body cannot condition for this type of fight, this type of punishment. And his nose is too big, he's too sharp, and he's punching too hard. Mike is out of shape. He's trying to get in shape. We're training, we're doing all this, but his body won't react condition-wise. And mentally, he's not conditioned for it. In fact, we were training in Hawaii. And I had a big old Corey Sanders. The Corey Sanders wanted the bad eye. He hit Mike in training. And I think it was 4 rounds. Mike boxed 8 rounds a day. So after 4 rounds, after the working out and everything, so Mike said, 100 rounds I did. I said, well, you did 8 rounds. He said, I don't remember anything after the 4th round. I said, what? He said, I don't remember anything after the 4th round. So I looked at him and said, you don't remember this? No, I don't remember anything. I knew that guy hit with a good shot. So I looked at him and I said, you know what? He ain't got no business in no ring with Lennox Lewis. And 3 weeks before the fight, Mike didn't even train. He come to the gym, he sit there, he got depressed, he sit there and look. And I'm constantly saying, let's not do this. You know, let's not do this. And then you have to understand that Mike was on this medication, and that medication is a downer. That medication takes you down, and it's a downer is what it is. So they had him on that medication, and what we would do, we had this medication being cracked down, tell Mike, throw this stuff away before you fight. The week before, don't take that medicine, throw it away. How you gonna train for a fight and you on a downer? Okay, now I know for a fact when we was in Memphis, Tennessee, for the first time, got to fight in the stores. For the first time, and since I had been with Mike, Mike sent a word to tell Stacey to come to the house. So I was having dinner with her, and I left. I went to the house. He said, I want you to spend the night in the house. So he was in the bed, asleep. I'm sitting up in a chair. I'm looking at him, and I'm saying to myself, you know that something is wrong. Okay. I also, our cook, I heard Mike ask him for his medication. He said, "Where's my medication?" And Mike took his medication, and he gave Mike his medication. Okay. If you notice, when Mike was coming to the ring, he was very nonchalant. He was speaking to everybody. He was kissing them, throwing kisses, speaking to everybody as if we're walking through the car. You know, and I'm looking at it like, he ain't got it. And walking through the car, ain't gonna get it inside that ring. We going to hell in the night. So why are you shaking everybody in? It's because the medication in the night. Okay? So when he got in the ring, the discrepancy in the corner was, I knew he was going to get hurt. And they brought in Ronnie Shields to be the head trainer in the corner. Okay, that was a political move. They put him in there to be the head trainer in the corner. I think it was around the 6th round. I saw what was getting ready to happen to him. So I told Ronnie Shields, I said, Ronnie, he's not reacting to what you're saying. Let me have this round. Let me go up front. Let me have this round, because I had a plan. And my plan was, I was going to tell Mike, look, you go out there this round, you throw everything you got to his head, everything to the head, okay? If you don't get him, you'll stop the fight. And that was my plan. But I didn't get a chance to implement it because I was overruled. Yeah. I was overruled, but Ronnie Shields said, no, I'm the head trainer. I said, okay, I'm the head corner. I said, okay, go ahead. But that was my plan to save him because I knew what was getting ready to happen. And afterwards, you know, it's some family members and some people was pissed off at me. Well, Stacey shouldn't have let Mike get it. I said, hold it. You got to understand the rules and the law. Okay? Put this guy ahead of me. They put this guy ahead of me. He's the one that's in charge of this corner. Okay? It all falls on him, not me. I couldn't stop it unless I threw a chair in the ring or something like that. But anyway, I remember telling Judge Mathis after I saw him at the Martin Luther King Civil Rights Museum there. And I was telling you, I told you that. I said, you know, they have no idea, man. It's the saddest day of boxing, as far as I'm concerned. You have no idea what we had to go through to get to this fight. I said,
all right, so there you have it, man. Stacey McKinley, great story. I mean, he's got a lot of stories. If you've been paying attention to the channel, it's pretty much impossible not to have seen one clip of my interview with him. There's been a lot of great stuff. You know, in this interview, he was talking about just everything that was going on around the Mike Tyson Lennox Lewis fight. For those of you who don't know, this was Mike Tyson's trainer for a couple fights, and after Mike got out of the jail, he trained him for the Peter McNeely fight and a couple fights after that. And then when he fought Lewis, they had brought in Ronnie Shields last minute as the head trainer, and Stacey kind of had to work under Ronnie Shields. And he basically what he was saying there is, you know, he knew that Tyson wasn't in his right mind from the time he spent with him, and then, you know, it had just it became something where he knew Tyson was a winner fighting a losing battle, and they were putting him in a serious position to get hurt. So he said it was the worst day of his life in boxing. You know, you guys can watch the rest of that clip on the channel. You can go look for the whole 1 hour and 11 minute interview. It's titled "The Stacey McKinley interview, heavyweight boxing interview special." It's an hour and 11 minutes long, just talking about the history of heavyweight boxing, where he sees certain fighters. Just a really great insight from one of the best heavyweight boxing minds. So a big shout out to Stacey McKinley. Hopefully I see him tomorrow at the weigh-ins here in South Florida for the local fights. But moving on, go see that. Go check that out. Moving on to get to some comments. Mr. Boxing today made another interesting comment. He says, "I'm not sure AJ knows what he's worth. He doesn't need Eddie Hearn. He has outgrown Matchroom." What do you think of that? Do you think AJ is bigger than Matchroom Boxing? And do you think he's outgrown Eddie Hearn and he can just do things on his own?
I don't really know at the moment, to be honest. Like, cause you know, he got to like where he's at today with Eddie Hearn's promotion, basically.
Yeah.
So Eddie Hearn has been putting him at stadiums like you know, Wembley, you know,
Principality Stadium,
Cardiff, you know, all those stadiums. So, you know, I don't think he needs to. You know, he can stay with Eddie Hearn. You know, have somebody help him, you know, with the money and stuff, get him fights, you know. So I think he's good where he's at.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's good where he's at too, man. I think what Anthony Joshua, to respond to what you're saying, Mr. Boxing today, he can definitely. I think he's big enough to be like good on his own. I just think, you know, how much time does AJ really want to spend doing the business of boxing? You know, there's very seldomly there's very few fighters that want to actually sit there and make those deals in boxing and want to handle both fighting, training, and the business side of boxing. You know, we see Floyd, we saw Bernard Hopkins for a little bit. We're seeing now Mikey Garcia, but it's very few fighters that are like that. So if AJ, I think he has the mind to do that, but I don't think he has the willingness to do that for himself. You know, he seems someone who strikes me as someone who's kind of loyal. So I don't see him just up and leaving Eddie Hearn. Mm-hmm. But that's just my take. So there's that. Moving on. Another thing I wanted to touch on was in regards to Joshua, was that Povetkin and Joshua are enrolled for their next fight in VADA Testing. So here's what it says. It says, and this is on badlefthook.com for those of you may be wondering. It says, I quote, "Heavyweight contender Alexander Povetkin and unified title holder Anthony Joshua have both signed up for VADA's drug testing program leading into their planned fight, according to a tweet sent out by the organization yesterday." The tweet says that the tweet basically says that VADA Testing welcomes Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin to our program as they prepare for the upcoming September 2018 bout. That's pretty much it. So then the article concludes by saying the fight between Joshua and Povetkin has not officially been announced, but is expected to happen after the WBA ordered the fight to be signed. And Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, said that they have no intent of losing a belt. Povetkin tested positive for banned substance twice in 2016, which scrapped fights against both Deontay Wilder and Bermane Stiverne that year, but has since won a couple fights in his native Russia and scored a win over David Price this past March in Cardiff. Meanwhile, fans had really been hoping to see an undisputed title unification in the heavyweight division between Anthony and Deontay Wilder take place this year, but that now looks like it won't be coming off until at least next spring at the earliest. So, Alex, what do you make of just basically this coming out? You know, Anthony Joshua, people think that he's, you know, juicing up. He's done that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Povetkin has a checkered history of performance-enhancing drugs. What do you make of both these guys enrolling in the most stringent and strict drug testing in boxing that we have?
You know, I really honor them for that. You know, like people are saying, oh, they're this, they're that. I mean, Povetkin, they can have a point, whatever, because, you know, his history. But with Joshua, like, he never failed a drug test or anything. So, you know, I'm glad Joshua's doing this VADA thing to, you know, prove all the, you know, haters wrong, basically. And Povetkin is, like, trying to redeem himself after that whole fiasco and whatever with the meldonium or whatever it was situation, right? So, you know, I think it's good that they're doing this. You know, very good for boxing, very good to keep you know, fighters safe. So, you know, I'm all up for it. So
okay,
you know.
my take on it is, you know, first of all, I think it's good that they're doing this. What I will say is, because a lot of people were saying that, you know, because they're saying, well, Povetkin needs to make sure that when he takes his PEDs and whatnot, that he cycles off properly so he doesn't get caught. Listen, with a VADA testing, it's very, very hard to beat a VADA test. It's very hard. You know, if you have even just the smallest thing in your system, you will get caught. You will get caught. So if I'm Hearn, you know, there's been problems with Povetkin in the past, whether, you know, if it's in a situation of the meldonium case where it was a newly banned substance and there were a lot of gray areas, you know, the fact of the matter is he still came up. And then with the Osterine thing, that, I mean, he flat out took Osterine, the whole Osterine thing. So it's two different cases, but regardless, I think it'd be smart for Eddie Hearn to at least have a opponent on standby just in case you don't know. And then for Joshua, like, this is good for him because, like, he's doing VADA. You know, a lot of people say they want VADA testing, and now we get VADA testing, and some people still aren't happy with it. So, good for them, man. I'm looking forward to this fight coming off, and you know, it's a good heavyweight fight, man. And Povetkin, I believe, is going to give Joshua some problems here and there, and he still has enough thump in his gloves to change the course of the fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this fight happens and how Joshua deals with that style. Just another quality heavyweight that he's getting in the ring with. So shout out to them.
But yeah, man, like, you know, shout out to them.
Yeah, so moving on from just heavyweights, no disrespect to boxing today, but we're gonna move on from the heavyweights for a little bit. Let's get into today's big story outside of heavyweights.
Yeah.
James DeGale vacates the IBF title, and he is not going to be fighting Jose Uzcategui. So,
yeah,
many of us kind of expected this because, you know, basically we all expected James DeGale to kind of go the Billy Joe Saunders route and fight BJS, Billy Joe Saunders. We'll read it verbatim here. It says, I quote, it says the following: two-time IBF World Super Middleweight Champion James DeGale has today relinquished his title as he closes in on securing big fights in the final phase of his illustrious career. DeGale, a former British and European champion, has ruled the 168-pound division split over 2 reigns as world champion, totaling almost 3 years. He's been involved in 6 IBF World Championship contests. The Londoner is proud to have held the organization's prestigious and famous red and gold world title belt that has been worn by many great fighters at the weight, including the likes of Joe Calzaghe and Roy Jones Jr. DeGale began his first whatever, and that's basically what it is. To get into what James DeGale said, let me hide it for you guys so you guys can see. He said, I quote, "No world champion." Hold on. No world champion easily gives up their world title that they've earned the hard way in the ring, and I've probably held the IBF title in 2 reigns with pride and distinction, which is why it makes it very hard decision to relinquish the belt. It's been a pleasure to work with the IBF, and I'd like to thank, but yada, yada, yada. Okay, who cares? We know he's probably going to try to fight Billy Joe Saunders.
All right, first of all, what does he mean hard way? He was fighting dirty in the fight, that Caleb Truax rematch.
Yeah.
Headbutting and all. So I don't think about hard way. He actually got away with it easily with the referee not seeing all the dirty stuff. But James DeGale, like, he's just full of crap, man. Like, he's a shot fighter already, basically.
Think so?
Yeah, he is.
So if he does, let's say if he does down, I don't know if I 168 or 160, but
probably worse.
Do you think he has any chance of beating Billy Joe Saunders? Because Billy Joe Saunders is like a sick, more of a slick type of fighter. He doesn't really like beat you up, but he's very, very slick. He fights in a very, very you know, just from outside really well, classy manner.
Thing is though, like I don't know, cause you know Billy Joe Saunders, you know, like I said, you know, he did look good in the Lemieux fight, but Lemieux's not like skilled as DeGale is. You know, Lemieux's like just basically like a come forward hard puncher, basically.
Yep.
Right. So DeGale is more skilled. He has more pedigree and stuff. More amateur. He's a gold medalist. So, but here's the thing though, the weight, like, because DeGale is already a big super middleweight. He's like what 6'1", 6'1", super middleweight. Getting to 160 will be even more harder and stuff. And I heard he's been like I heard he actually had difficulties making weight for his last fight too. The Truex match. I heard he had to throw up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which made that fight even more worse. And I thought Caleb Truex is gonna destroy him in that fight, but then he started fighting dirty and stuff, and the referee was like, "Oh, really?" And none of them were even doing anything. Like, I actually, to be honest, that fight should have just been a draw, like, because all the rounds were like basically.
Yeah, that was an ugly fight. DeGale Truex.
Yeah, like all it was just headbutts and elbows. Like no legit punches.
Hey, don't get it twisted though. He's ducking my man Caleb Plant too. Caleb Plant was gonna do him in.
Oh yeah, Caleb Plant, man. But you know, Caleb Plant, this is an opportunity for him because Uzcategui is now the full champion by the IBF, so he doesn't have to fight for no vacant title. But he's gonna have to like fight. They might order him to fight Plant though. So
yeah,
you know, shout out to Plant. You know, he's gonna be fighting Uzcategui. So should we talk about that or
why not? I'll break that right down. I like Caleb Plant's chances against Uzcategui. Who do you favor? Who do you fancy, as the Brits would say in that matchup?
You know, other than the Durrell fights from Uzcategui, I haven't really watched much of him. I did watch his like knockout win over John Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
He beat him when he was undefeated. So you know he knocked him out before Charlo did it. So, but you know he looks very good. You know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, he's a very skilled fighter and stuff, and that he could give DeGale problems and stuff. So, you know, I just can't wait to see what he does against Caleb Plant, like a very slick, you know, skilled super middleweight. You know, here's the thing though, Uzcategui has more power and stuff. Well, like he has a higher knockout percentage, but I'm not gonna go off of that because styles don't make fights. So by puncher's chance, like I don't know who's gonna win. I just want to see the fight. That's what I'm gonna say.
What I'll say is this, man. Caleb Plant. I've been dying and asking for them to put an opponent in front of Val Force. Has got to get more offensive and have to display more. And I think that's what Uzcategui can be for Caleb Plant. Like, it's a guy that will actually make him get there and fight. So,
yeah. The only guy to beat Uzcategui legitly, by the way, is Matvey Korobov. So, you know, just take some notes from that fight. Durrell just whined his way out of the first fight. So, you know, it's a good fight, you know, so I just can't wait.
I can't wait either. So, yeah, and what I'll say about DeGale, going back to DeGale, he lost his motivation. At least for me, I got the sense that he was losing his motivation before the Badou Jack fight. Because I'll never forget it. I went back in the days when I was working at a pizza place. I was walking to work, and when I used to walk to work, I used to listen to interviews sometimes. So I remember I was listening to Kugan Cassius. Big shouts out to him. I was listening to his interview, and he was talking to Kugan about how, you know, he kept talking about how many fights he has left in boxing and when he's gonna retire. And usually when you hear that from a fighter right before a big fight, that's never a good sign. That's never ever a good sign. And
yeah,
that's just what it is. Like
I remember too, like, you know, he fought I watched the fight, but you know, he fought Andre Durrell, and then he defended the title against the Fight of the Year candidate against Lucien Bute. And that was like his last legit win, his last good win, right?
Yeah.
Then he fought Porky Medina, and it just went downhill from there. So, you know, like a lot of people thought he lost the Medina fight. A lot of people thought he lost the Jack fight. He loses the Caleb Trax, and then rematch was just very dirty. And now he's vacating the title. And he claims he's going after just for bigger fights in the second half of his career and stuff. So, Yeah, it's just not a good look for him.
It's not a good look, but that's that. So yeah, basically we ran through everything. So for those of you who have been, I've been watching the comments, man. Y'all go. I haven't really been keeping track of why, but y'all are going really hard on my main man, Mr. Boxing today. Like I don't know why. Dude's pretty cool. Like what's the issues down there in the comments? I haven't even been keeping track of his comments, Big Vito, so I have no idea what you're talking about in regards to that. But me and Alex are gonna get back here on camera because we need to bless the world, not bless the masses with our presence here. Let's slide this over there. Man, shout out to the 26 of you that are still here. Let me say this. If you haven't subscribed to TSS, go subscribe to TSS for the latest and greatest in boxing news and interviews and footage and just everything in between. Everything in between. Go do that. And we're back, in the flesh. And aside from that, man, just like drop in the comments down below. What y'all want to talk about? I got roughly 30 minutes. It's 10:24 here on the East Coast. Let us know too. What city, what state, what country are you watching the stream from tonight? And is there anything in particular you the boxing fans like to talk about? I really enjoyed our chats tonight. And what I'll say is there's a lot of great things in the works of True School Sports. I'll be at the fight. I'll be at the weigh-in tomorrow for Harold Calderon and JD Martinez. That's going to be happening at the Hard Rock Casino. So that's a big local fight. Probably not a big fight on the national scale, but a big local fight.
Yeah.
And what I'll say is, if you like what I'm doing here, like Ruben Crespo, shouts out to Ruben. I saw the super chats earlier. Hit them super chats up. I ain't gonna beg, but I'm just saying it's there.
Yeah. So you wanna look at?
Let's go through the news, man.
Let's go through the news. Maris Briedis will be fighting on the Usyk and Garcia card.
That's good. So Marius Briedis will be back in action on the July 21st. We never talked about Usyk Garcia.
Oh yes,
you wanted to talk about that. So
Usyk Garcia.
Let me ask you a question. Who?
I'm going for Alexander Usyk.
That's who you believe is gonna win.
My guy, my guy right there.
And why do you think Usyk is gonna win the fight?
Why do I think he's gonna win? Garcia is known for having trouble with guys who are not even as skilled as Usyk. He struggled in the Lebedev fight. The Dorticos fight, he did knock him out, but he was struggling in the beginning. So he's like a late starter. I remember before he fought Jordan Schimmel, vicious knockout, but Schimmel was still giving him some work too. So that I don't know, he just has a lot of bad I can't think of the word right now, but he's
shaky performances.
Yeah, just shaky performances. Usyk, the only shaky performance I can remember is the Umchuno fight, but it was his first fight in America. He's trying to get used to he was trying to get some rounds in because I don't know, it was only his second fight that year as well because he was training all that year for that Glowacki fight. So, he was trying to get some more rounds in, and then he, boom, knocked him out. So, that's the only shaky performance I can remember. After that, he's been putting on good performances, like Michael Hunter Jr. That was the fight that really got me into him. Marco Huck, knocked him. He came off a lot. He came off a loss, but, he's still a good veteran fighter. Good performance against Maris Briedis.
Very good.
So, now he's fighting a hard puncher in Garcia.
Best point of his career, I would say.
Oh, Garcia?
Definitely. Usyk, right? Yeah, Usyk. To me, that's better than Michael Hunter, better than Huck, because the Huck he fought was a little faded. Yeah. He's fading, the process of fading. Briedis, good fighter. I like Garcia. The reason I think Garcia is better than everybody's fought is, look at Garcia, deceptively athletic, knows where to be in the ring. One thing I'll say about him is every time I watch him, a couple times I watched him, got an underrated jab. I think he's got an underrated jab. Knows how to, because it's one thing to land punches, but it's one thing to know how to place the punches. Because you can land a punch, but not necessarily know how to place it in the right spot. And when he knocked what's his name out the ring, he knew how to place them shots. That's I think the fact that Garcia fights in such an intelligent manner, but still maintains that spirit to come and hurt you, it makes the fight interesting to me. I see I see Usyk winning the fight. I don't think it's gonna stop Garcia, but I think because of his mobility, he's kind of I watched Usyk fight, and he's like a bigger Lomachenko.
Yeah. That's why I see Like, and he's trained by his dad too.
Yeah, ironically. So that's why they fight in such a similar manner. So yeah, regardless, I think it's gonna be great to see finally the first season of the World Boxing Super Series wrap up, and we finally get an undisputed champion at cruiserweight
in the 4-belt era.
In the 4-belt era, so I think whoever wins that fight, I already have Usyk on the lower parts of my pound list. The winner of that fight for me is going to be the undisputed, or not undisputed, but be the top 5 pound for pound. No doubt about it.
Do you think the winner of that fight would be like I don't want to say the greatest cruiserweight of all time, but like up there?
Oh, they'll take a massive step. Like definitely. If you're like Usyk, you're definitely taking a massive step towards that. If you're gonna see it's still a great accomplishment, but you still have a little more to do than Usyk does.
Yeah, because it's like the cruiserweight division is not like really that like rich. Like
no, it's not. Well, it's not like a glamour division. It's like heavyweight, lightweight. It's not one of the original weight classes in boxing, so that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only been like 2 undisputed champions. That's Holyfield and Holyfield was the only good guy. The other guy was like it's like some guy named Bill. I don't know. Like he wasn't really that good. But so it would be very interesting to see how that goes. So what else is happening?
Seattle, Washington. What's up? Shout out to Seattle.
Shumanov is returning.
Okay. So y'all just have some fundamental disagreements on Mr. Boxing. I'm talking Mr. Boxing. Y'all have some fundamental disagreements on Wilder versus AJ and Hearn and all that stuff. So, yeah, it is what it is. That this fight seems to split the opinions of all boxing fans, and that's just the way it's going to be. But I like Mr. Boxing today, so shout out to him and shout out to all the subscribers, all the loyal ones. It's 10:30 here on the East Coast here in the great city of Dania. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, True School Sports. On my right,
Alexander Fitzmaurice.
Or AKA the big payback, as we call him on this channel. As we're here on True School Sports, let me celebrate everybody. Want to wish my homeboy Paul over there. It's his birthday today. That's why there's so many. Yeah, that's why there's so many fireworks going off outside, because we're celebrating the birth not of America, but of Paul Martinez.
Yes, sir.
Paul. You can go follow Paul. He's a rapper, fantastic rapper. You can go follow Paul on Instagram at Paul Writes. That's writes, like you're writing. So Paul, Paul, Writes, WRITES 23 on Instagram. So Paul Writes 23. Go follow him for the best bars in all of rap / hip hop music. Okay, exactly, shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Oh, did you know that Carl Frampton's fighting some guy named Luke Jackson?
Luke Jackson.
Who's that?
I did hear about that fight, but I don't really know anything about Luke Jackson, to be honest with you.
No, but it was just not okay. He's an Australian opponent, right? So, yeah. Oh,
Mr. Boxing today, I wanted to ask you. So there's a heavyweight that I've been put on to recently. I haven't had a chance to watch him, but people were telling me about him the other night in the comment section when I was live. His name is Martin Bakoli. He's a Nigerian heavyweight. Well, I think Nigerian. What do you think about him? If you know anything about him, what do you think about him? I'd like to know in the comments. Martin Bakoli. Apparently, he's related. I don't know. This heavyweight I'm talking about, he's related to Makabu, the one that fell Bellew.
Oh, seriously?
Supposedly, he's like this really good prospect. I haven't really seen much of him fight, but.
Yo. Oh yeah, Amir Khan.
Bakoli is not Nigerian.
Huh.
Someone told me he was Nigerian. Well, what is he? Oh, Agjaba. Nathan Agjaba is Nigerian. I know Nathan Agjaba. I watched him fight. I know he's from Nigeria. Is Bakoli Scottish? What is he? When you find this out? Someone told me he was Nigerian, so I went with it. I didn't really look. I haven't looked him up yet. Oh, he's from the Congo. That's what it is. Okay, yeah, I remember someone told me that too. So, what do you think about him though, Mr. Boxing today? Like is he any good? Do you see him like as a guy that could contend on that world level one day? I haven't had a chance to watch anything of him, so I'm going to you because you're the encyclopedia for heavyweight boxing. You know more than I do about the younger crop of guys. That's what I go to. Mr. Boxing today. While we're waiting for his answer, let's go to the news. So in the news,
I'm looking at some news right now.
Whoa. So I hate to report this, but so a lot of you guys say he's a problem when he has sick power. These are the things we tend to hear from guys who are in that prospect stage. But apparently, in other news, Floyd Money Mayweather, okay, shout out to Floyd. Floyd Mayweather, according to TMZ, and I hate to even read a TMZ article, but I feel weird when I read TMZ articles on a boxing page.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently, Floyd Mayweather has pulled a $2 million. Well, no, not he. The title of the article is Floyd Mayweather allegedly pulls money scheme in Nigeria. He sued for $2 million. So let's see what does this say. It says this is the article read. It says it's the opposite of those online scams. A Nigerian company claims it was screwed out of a fortune by a wealthy Floyd Mayweather, and now he's suing Mayweather to get his money back. The company behind the lawsuit is Zini Media, which claims it booked Floyd to make 5 appearances in Nigeria and Ghana in June 2017 for the low sum of $375,000. Company says it got Floyd to make a video confirming the appearances, so they were good to go. They even wired him $210,000 in advance. But before the first event, Floyd bailed and the company was left holding the bag. In the suit, Zini claims Floyd reps offered to reschedule for December 2017 and added more appearances to the list, but he also raised the price of $550,000. Zini claims they were told, wow. Zini, wow. Okay, so this company supposedly had Floyd booked for public appearances, and as we know, if you follow Floyd, he makes public appearances in other countries. He did it in Russia. He's done it in England. So he makes money. He just goes there and talks and says, I just touch him, be smart. I tied him up. You've seen it before. So
like I said before,
it's chess, not checkers. I know what it takes to go to the fight of this magnitude. I'll do all the Floyd quotes. Basically, this Floyd bailed on 5 appearances. It was $375,000. They gave him $210,000. They tried to reschedule him. He raised the price up to $550,000, and then they were told they could use the $210,000 toward the new booking price. So yeah, just a sticky situation, man. Floyd seems to be having his name in a lot of trouble these days. You have this situation. You have Mickey Baez mad at him for putting him on the show.
Oh, dang.
Jose Vargas was mad at him for posting that sparring footage. A lot of people seem to be really not on Floyd's side, but interesting story there. Back to the comments, Mr. Boxing Today said, I did a prospect vid on my channel. Check my heavyweight prospect playlist. All right, I'm going to check it out. I'm definitely going to check it out for sure. But Coley reportedly gave Daniel Dubois that work. So basically what you're telling me is Daniel Dubois played the role of Anthony Joshua here, and the prospect beat him up in sparring. Is that what you're telling me?
Dang. Kalyafai really wants Rungosai.
Yeah, Mr. Boxing Today has done a hell of a lot of prospect videos. Like I remember first one I probably watched of his was when he did one on Cassius Chaney, the American heavyweight. That's how I found out about Cassius Chaney. So good stuff there. Let's see. What other stories you got in the boxing world?
I sort of want to talk about the super flyweights actually.
Okay.
Kalyafai says that he really wants to fight Rungosai. Apparently. Yeah.
You weren't here. You were camping the other night, but basically, I talked about it the other night. Yeah, Kalyafai out of nowhere, just like it seems like there's a bunch of pixie dust that is sprinkled from the sky. Out of nowhere, he's gotten these balls and wants to fight everybody. He wants to fight Rungosai. He wants to fight Estrada. He wants to fight Raul Gonzalez. He wants to fight them all. Okay. Now I ain't even mad at it because it was funny. Did you see his last fight? The one in America?
Oh no, I didn't.
I can't remember who he fought, but in that fight, like have you seen
David Carmona?
Yeah, he fought David Carmona. You've seen him fight his other fights though, right? Kalyafai?
Oh yeah, I watched that fight where he fought that Japanese dude.
Yo, okay, that guy. So in this fight, he was complete. Like how you just he boxed from the outside and he didn't really want to trade. This fight, he was way different. Bro. He was on the inside. He was digging into the body, and he was like, he just fought toe to toe. It's almost like he came to America and he wanted to make that statement of intent, like, yo, I'm here, I'm Kalyafai, I'm the champ.
Yeah, exactly.
So now ever since that fight, he's gotten all this bravado out of nowhere, and he's calling out all these guys. So if you want to fight Rungosai, I applaud the ambition because Rungosai has proven himself to undisputably be the baddest man at 115 pounds. Beat Roman Gonzalez twice. Beat up my boy Roman Gonzalez. He beat up 3-0 TBE. Then after he beat up 3-0 TBE, he beat up. It was a close fight, but he beat Estrada.
And he became the lineal champion. Too.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like Rungvisai, no, that's a good fight too. But there's also in Sajas who was fighting on that card too.
Yeah,
and that they're talking about it too. So you got Insaha, you got Rungvisai, you also got Donnie Nietis moving up to 115, fighting what's his name for the vacant title that Inoue vacated. So 115's popping right now. You also got Rashid Warren, the only American in the division. I don't know. I mean, that's all I gotta say. Former world champion at bantamweight. Who else? Who else? You got a lot of fighters at 115. Roman Gonzalez, wherever he's at.
TBE. Best boxer ever.
I don't know what he's up to today these days, but I hope he has a fight coming up soon.
Yeah, man. All jokes aside, I want to see him. I really want to see Kelly fight him.
Oh yeah.
Because that, for me at least, I think that's Roman Gonzalez's easiest way to get a title. If he beats Kelly retire. Retire on that note. You had a great career.
Oh man.
Retire on that note because he's been in some wars. These small guys tend to age quicker. And he's got a family, man. You got to think about these things. Life after boxing. So I'll let Roman Gonzalez fight Kelly beat him, retire. Or maybe fight Yanni Nietzsche, beat him, retire. That's the ideal scenario for me.
Yeah. To be honest, I just want to see him against the Nietzsche and I think the guy's name is Palicite or whatever. I don't know. I forgot the other dude he's fighting, but I just want to see him against that one there.
Yeah.
Because what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
No, because Nietzsche is like old too. He's like what, 38, 39?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Another news too. It's also worth noting that the World Boxing Super Series, the draw for the second season. So basically, the little show they do where the fighters pick who they're going to fight. Yeah, that'll be taking place very, very soon. Because so that'll be on July the 22nd. So later on this month, you're gonna have basically for the new tournaments for 140 pounds and 118, they're going to be doing they're going to be doing the draw for that. So just another step in the progression of the World Boxing Super Series. And that, for those of you who haven't heard already, the American TV rights have been acquired by DAZN, so it'll be a lot more accessible to us, the American fight fans, to watch these guys and watch these tournaments and just enjoy more boxing. So
exactly, yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for this one.
It's gonna be fun. Let's see. What else we got? We got you know what? There's really not a whole lot because it's kind of slow in boxing right now. I'm gonna ask you one last thing, and then we're gonna get off here, Alex. So
okay.
Give me your thoughts on, because I haven't talked about this really too much because I'm not really that excited for it, but you're a massive Triple G fan. So we want to talk about, I want to get your thoughts on Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez.
There shouldn't even be a rematch. Triple G beat him. But, you got judges, what's her name?
Adeline Byrd.
118.
The wife of the great Robert Byrd.
Why? Oh, you got a bad referee and a bad judge. 118, 110, stupid scorecard ever. Canelo cheats, and then I don't know, man. I just want him to fight I just rather see him fight Saunders.
Yeah,
but it's whatever, man. He already vacated the IBF title. I don't see him being undisputed anymore. So,
my dad said that GGG is going to put it on Canelo.
I want him to put it on Canelo. I just want him to beat the crap out of him for how Canelo's been acting. Yeah. I don't like Canelo.
G Boogie says that Golovkin should have moved on, go for his mandatory so when he loses the belt, then go for Billy Hole Saunders. Big Mo says Canelo's going on points. Yeah. I'm not really that excited for it, I'll be honest with you. I'm so because this is actually putting Joshua and Wilder on hold. I really want to see Joshua Wilder. Golovkin won that fight and they robbed him. So
he should have just went ahead and just fought Derevyanchenko and just get that mandatory out the way because I didn't see anything wrong with doing that. Just get it out the way.
Yeah.
Then you can make all these fights with Saunders and stuff. I don't know, man. I'm just not excited about it either. So, but I'm still gonna watch because I'm a Triple G fan. But
yeah,
I just wanted to see Derevyanchenko or Saunders.
Okay.
So
That's his thoughts on GGG. I really don't have much thoughts on GGG, but honestly, it's 10:43 here on the East Coast, here in South Florida. Dania to be exact. We just kicked from Dania. What I'll say is this: shameless plug. One last shameless plug, and I'm gonna let you guys go. So let me go to screen share real quick. So go to screen share. Where we at? Let me share. Yeah, that. Send to everyone. Okay, so we're screen sharing now. Last shameless plug, and I'll be getting off here. If you haven't done so already, go on Instagram and go follow True School Sports on Instagram. Page is growing. I'm gonna be posting some of my clips on there. So if you're on Instagram, you want more boxing content, go on here. I gotta change this logo too because I just got a new logo. So expect that to be changed soon. But yeah, 949 followers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. I'm trying to grow my page. My dad, I don't even run it right now. My dad is the one that's been running it. So big shout out to my pops. I got to teach him how to use Instagram, and he's been using it. He's been having fun with it, and we've grown the page from like 400 or 300 something to 949. So it's getting there and it's coming up, and I haven't even had a chance to share my own clips on there. So as we do that, it'll grow. But yeah, go follow that now if you haven't. And that's what it is. I'm gonna come back on camera. Let's see, let's get on camera here for a second. Let's hit stop, and voila, we're back on camera. Okay, so last closing messages to the boxing fans out there, to the guys watching out there. I really enjoyed tonight. It's been good to have my buddy Alex back here tonight. And any final thoughts, Alex?
Just keep watching boxing, man. I think it's the best sport ever, man.
Okay, keep watching boxing. It's the best sport, as your boy Alex said. My final thoughts are, keep what he said. Keep watching boxing. It's the greatest sport in the world. And what I will say is this: keep supporting True School Sports because when you support the real, because in life and in boxing there's real and there's fake. There's a lot of real and there's a lot of fake. And when you support me, you support the real. When you support me, you support the authentic and someone who actually loves boxing, who follows it as a whole. I do my best to try to give you guys value. I'll be at the weigh-ins for Harold Calderon versus JD Martinez tomorrow, so expect some interviews with local fighters. Maybe Ivan Ditchko can get into a translator. Maybe Ivan Ditchko. Maybe Evander Holyfield. Maybe Riddick Bowe. Maybe someone who I can't even fathom right now. But expect some interviews and some content coming out in the next over the weekend, interviews and whatnot. And yeah, all I can say is just I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the love I've been getting around the YouTube boxing community from the fight fans. And the next time I'll be live, let's see. When's the next time I'll be live? I don't know when I'll be live next, but I'm going to shoot for, let's say, Saturday. So Saturday should be the next time I'm live. This is the third time we've been live. We were live on Sunday. We were live on Monday. And we're live on Wednesday. So
yeah. There's a fighter on Saturday. Jose Ramirez is fighting.
Okay. So maybe if there's time, I think because the Hard Rock fight's on Friday. So Saturday we should be live. I'm going to try to go live with Jose Ramirez fight. There really ain't really too many. From what on paper looks to be competitive matchups. We'll watch and we'll give you guys a live fight reaction to that. And then the following week is Pacquiao and Matisse, and we'll have a live fight reaction to that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it.
In progress, too. So yeah.
In progress. So that's what it is. It's man, Alex, Big Payback, Fitzmaurice, it's your boy BT Brennan Taylor. Like we say in every single video, you can love us or you can hate us. We just kiss from dang it. So until next time. Take care, guys, and enjoy the rest of your 4th of July. I don't know if you guys can hear the fireworks outside, but they're going off and off and off. But enjoy the rest of 4th of July. Hope it's great. Stay safe out there. And overall, just God bless.